Okay, step number 3. This is the step I want you to take a little time with because the measurements here are very important. There are 2 panels just like this. There is a left and there is a right. You will notice that there is a 3-inch between this shelf run and the end, and on this end down here is an 11-inch. This is for the base. It gets no shelves. There are holes perforated in the front of this panel. These holes are for mounting the burner box to the outer casing. So if you take this and you stand this up and bring it around, you'll find that it is the right hand side of this oven. And the holes are right here where these screws are for mounting this in. So we know that is the right hand side. Okay, let's flip this over. You have a flange which is perforated, which is to go directly this facing against the outside and the holes. Smooth here, perforated holes for spot welding are on the inside. I'm going to take this L bracket, which is 20 gauge with a 2-inch inside diameter right here, and it's got a 3/4 inch. This is a facial support you're going to use later, but it's very important that you know to put it up here now for a measurement you're getting ready to take. This is one of the only measurements that's critical on putting this oven together. With this bracket in place, it can be slightly off the edge or balanced on each end. Hold this faceplate to it. I'm going to clamp it just so that it stays together. I'm going to grab one more clamp. What you're looking for is the inner bracket is 16 gauge material and this outer L bracket is 20 gauge. With these 2 pieces clamped together, you are looking for an exactly 3/4 inch measurement here. Let's put a clamp and then we'll check it again. It can only clamp from the end. This is keeping it tight, slightly under. Take our hammer. Three-quarter inch measurement. You're coming to this end, you're doing the same. It is a 3/4 inch measurement. Don't assume that it's 3/4 inch in the middle because it won't be. It'll warp on you. Take your next clamp, come in, a larger clamp, you have to go over the housing and make certain that you're maintaining a 3/4 inch. If you see there, it's a little too much. You want to unclamp this, bow this out just a little bit, and clamp it back. You have to readjust and readjust as long as it takes. This is a critical measure. I have 3/4 of an inch. You want to maintain 3/4 of an inch all the way down this. This piece is clamped in place to give you that you know you've got the correct dimension, but it is not welded at this time. This is now ready for spot welding, but only on the inside. You're not doing anything to this outer panel. It's just in place now while you're using it. You are looking for a good penetration. You'll look to the inside. It will leave a slight mark. You can touch it up later with the high temperature paint if you'd like. Tack it into place along so that it doesn't move on you. Okay, we're still on step 3. I've come back in, I've removed the outer piece while I did the final welding on all of this to where I could get better clamp tension. So if you put your tape on it, you'll notice now you're just slightly over 3/4 of an inch. You're actually the thickness of 120 gauge piece of material and 3/4 of an inch. I've got numerous clamps on this. When you clamp it all down, you don't want this panel moving on you, and as many clamps as you can put on it. I've come inside, I've tack welded the holes, but I don't count on them. I come back in on the inside and I run a little bead weld. You'll find that this will get a much better adhesion, as you can't always tell when a spot weld just through a hole will actually hold or not. But now you're going to move on to putting on the rear brace. It's the same brace that you put on the front side, but on this one there's just the one piece, and what's critical is that it sits nice and flush with the rear pan. You put it right to the edge, nice and flush, and clamp it into place. I'm flush to the back, I'm flush to the side. If it hangs over just a little bit or back, that's okay. The flush on the rear is what is important. As you can see, this one is slightly too long. It was real tight on the other end. So I'm going to tap it back down and balance the differences. You're remembering to stay flush to the back. This is step number 3. This is now ready to be tack welded, and all of these clamps from the front brought down to this panel and welded into place.